Once again, I welcome everyone to this ABAP on HANA demo session. I have already launched many courses like ABAP, MediG, Enhancement MediG, Early Adobe MediG, Adobe Form MediG, and also in past conducted for ABAP on HANA course already. This is the fourth batch in the row of ABAP on HANA MediG, and this is the demo session where I'm going to start this session with my introduction. I believe most of you know already about me. Still, the one who does not know about me, for them, my name is Pankaj, and having 10 plus years of real-time working experience, worked in multiple MNCs like Accenture, Sopra Steria, etc., and having experience in implementation projects, migration, rollout, and support projects as well. Till now, I have trained around 500 plus students online or offline. I have also published some of my courses on Udemy. There are multiple students have taken advantages. I'm a founder of ABAP Ritual community where 500 plus students have joined and they are helping to each other. In this course, the main key takeaway is going to be we are going to learn the code push down techniques. We will see what's the meaning of code push down technique and why it is important when HANA comes into picture. There are various code push down techniques. One of them is the new OpenSQL. Another is SQL scripting and ADBC, and then the most popular one, which we all know, the CDS. CDS is very important. The SQL script and CDS are going to be main focus of this course. Of course, new OpenSQL also we are going to discuss in detail. New syntax also. We'll be learning the important points need to be taken care while migrating the code from ECC to S4HANA. We will be also looking the SAP performance tools, old and new. Under the old tool, we are having ST03, ST04, ST05, ST12, SC30, and then also we are having the static code check like SCI, right? And under the new, we are going to discuss the SQL Monitor tool, which is a kind of asynchronous tool which does not impact the performance even in production. So these we are going to discuss in detail. Our also uh, not the live focus will be there on the information model because this information model one of the code push down technique which was getting popularity early 2015, but nowadays it is not having that much impact and that much popularity because of the CDS and all, because it's going to not give you the flexible business logic. Due to that, this is a graphical editor tool and it is having its own limitation, it is having its own benefit, but it is having not that much flexibility. Due to that, the information model did not get much popularity and hence these are not going to be the important topic. However, this calculation view is still very popular among the BI or BW developer. We will be looking some basic idea of information model and about calculation view. We will be learning about the view proxy. What is view proxy? We will be also learning about the SQL script. We will be learning about the ABAP database connectivity, that is nothing but ADBC. Based upon the SQL script, we are having the stored procedure, user defined function, and how to connect our application server, that means the SAP application server, with the stored procedure. For that, we are having the procedure proxy. To connect the information model with our application server, we are having the view proxy. In the same way, to connect the SQL script. So based upon the SQL script, we are going to develop the stored procedure, and once we develop the stored procedure at the HANA level, then we are going to connect this with the help of procedure proxy at application server layer, where we can consume in the program. AMDP, again the above way of consuming the SQL script. We will be learning about this replacement object, the concept of replacement object, and CDS is the most important. So the SQL script and CDS is very, very important in this course. SQL script, stored procedure, AMDP, there are going to be very much focused on these topics. Under the CDS, we are having these topics: CDS, normal CDS, parameterized CDS, association, very important concept, association and types of association. We'll be learning about the path expression. We'll be learning about the annotation, then VDM, very, very important in terms of improve the performance and for the purpose of embedded analytics. Different types of VDM we are having: private interface and consumption. Also, we are having the basic composite and consumption view. Under the VDM, we'll be learning those in detail. We'll be learning how we can create the OData service with the help of CDS using annotation. We'll be looking into the transient provider, what is embedded analytics, how to improve the CDS performance, HANA text search, and ALV-ID. For some of the topic, I'm going to share just the pre-recorded video from my last class, the topic which are not more important or more relevant in the current time. Total hours of this course is going to be around 50 hours, and prerequisite for this course, it will be better if you have the ABAP knowledge. If you have the ABAP knowledge, if you are an ABAPer, or if you have some basic idea about ABAP, this course is more meaningful for you. This course is for whom? For ABAPer, of course. This course is going to be for BI or BW developer who wants to enhance their knowledge for embedded analytics and want to learn more about ABAP evolution for HANA and how ABAP works efficiently with the HANA. For the functional consultant, this course is not mandatory, but if they want to learn, they want to understand the concept, of course they can go, but this is not mandatory for them. For techno-functional, of course, this course is going to be useful for them. How to get server. I will be sharing the information in our WhatsApp group where you are already joined. How you can get the servers. Servers provider is going to be from Hyderabad, and somewhere it is going to cost for 3 months 2500. And along with this course, I won't be providing the server. You will have to get the server your own. Okay. Now let's see about S4 HANA journey. SAP introduced R2, means Tier 2 architecture, in 1979, and then in 1992 R3 architecture, based upon the R3 architecture, R3 was given by SAP, and then ERP suite in 2004, and then in 2015 S4 HANA was given by SAP. S stands for simplified, 4 stands for fourth generation. So simplified S4 HANA Business Suite. This is the S4. In order to more understand about S4 HANA, let's start with three-tier architecture. So here we are having the SAP GUI, that is the presentation server, through which we gets connected with the application server, and this application server is connected with the a database server. So this is our database server. This database can be any database. For example, it can be DB2, it can be DB6, it can be Informix, it can be Sybase, it can be Max, it can be Oracle, any database it can be. It can be HANA also, but here we'll be not discussing about HANA. HANA I will be discussing soon as a upgraded version. So this is what the R3 architecture we are having. This R3 architecture is having various benefits. As we know, what are the benefits of this R3 architecture? Whenever you want, you can replace the database with whatever database you want, right? So database, if you are using DB2 and tomorrow your business wanted to implement Oracle, you can just go and implement. This is one benefit. Another benefit, that if you want to upgrade your application server, you are not going to impact your database because it is loosely coupled. Because it is loosely coupled, the upgradation of any of the component is not going to be nightmare. When it was R2 architecture, where application server and database both were tightly integrated, then it used to have been very difficult if you want to upgrade any component, particularly the application server or database. But with this architecture, it's easy, and that's why we are also able to upgrade this DB with HANA DB. So when HANA came into picture around 2010, so in 2010 HANA came into picture, and then it was introduced first as a sidecar scenario because none of the business was ready to directly implement the HANA because they were not knowing about it. It was very new database. So it was implemented as a sidecar scenario. We will understand in detail about the sidecar scenario tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be our first class. Okay. Here, just I want to set the context for ABAP on HANA, what we are going to learn mainly. With the evolution of technology with time, this SAP GUI, as you know that SAP GUI is a local GUI which gets installed in our system, and we will be utilizing this application server with the help of GUI. This SAP GUI upgraded or maybe evolved, we can tell better like it got evolved as a SAP UI5, and this was the requirement of time because everything was moving towards browser or mobile based technology. So SAP UI5 or Fury, this is supported by mobile and browser as well. So SAP has taken the decision to move further and upgraded their presentation server to SAP Wi-Fi and Fury. Earlier, they also tried with the help of WebDeal Pro, but it was not that much successful. And WebDeal Pro was not a responsive technology. Means it is not to support the mobile. It was okay for desktop, but not for mobile. That's why SAP Wi-Fi. This is the HTML5 based technology, right? And it started supporting all kind of devices. In terms of application server, this application server is installed on top of NetWeaver. Okay. So NetWeaver also evolved and it came over here as NetWeaver 7.4 onwards. We have seen drastic, or we can say like there are a lot of improvement in the above application server in terms of new syntax, in terms of new SQL. So NetWeaver 7.4 onwards, there are a lot of improvement in the application server in order to support the new syntax, in order to support the efficient programming. Right? It was a very good improvement from the SAP side. And then, as you know that when we are going to with the time actually, the number of customers, the number of data gets increased, and because these were the non-HANA DB, okay, these DB gets installed at hard disk level. Okay. Because these are the as we know, like the most of the application is going to be installed at the hard disk level. But you know that how the computer works. So let's suppose here we are having the computer, and this computer first communicate with, because there is no meaning of any processing without data. So this computer first communicate with the registers, and this registers gets the data from the RAM. So this is our RAM, and so this is how the communication happens, and this RAM gets the data if it requires from the hard disk. Okay, so here we are having the hard disk. Maybe we can represent with this hard disk. So now you can see that this computer, mainly I'm talking about this computer, is nothing but your CPU. So when CPU has to process something, it's going to connect with the registers, and register in turns, it's going to get the data from RAM, and RAM is going to get the data from the hard disk. So if something is installed over here at the hard disk, in order to reach over here to the CPU, it has to travel from here to here, here to here, and then here. It takes time. But suppose if something is going to install at RAM level itself, right? As you know that random access memory, this RAM is going to be lot more faster than the hard disk, right? And nowadays the cost of RAM, right, has been decreased drastically. So SAP and their talented people has evolved the DB which can be installed in RAM directly. So this HANA DB, they came up with the concept of HANA DB. So this HANA DB can be installed directly at RAM, and because RAM is going to be a lot more faster, the overall performance is going to get improved. Not only this RAM, HANA DB is having the multiple core processor. As you know that processor nowadays is going to get cheaper on day-to-day basis. So installing the processor on HANA DB, it's not a very big deal compared to earlier prices and all. So multi-core processor and then multiple bits of operating system nowadays is also supported by. Earlier it was when the Intel 8084, it used to support 8 bits of data bus and 8 bits of address bus, which was not supporting multiple gigabytes of RAM, right? And multiple bytes of calculation. That means if we have to calculate the big amount of number, if you have to calculate the big number, it was not possible earlier, right? But with the evolution of technology and this, the prices are getting cheaper for important parts like RAM and all. This HANA came into picture. We'll be discussing more about this, how the multiple cores, right, came into picture, and how the operating system, like multiple bits supporting the operating system like 64 bits and all, right, how these are going to help in order to evolve the HANA DB and it made powerful. So we'll be looking more about this concept and all because these are important to get connect with HANA and to understand the more concept on top of this. So going ahead, at this point of time, just to understand, this HANA DB is installed at RAM. It is having the multi-core processor and it supports multiple bits like 64 bits of processing, right? Because it's installed in RAM directly and having the multi-core processor and it supports the multiple bits, it is very, very powerful, right? Because it's very powerful, we would like to leverage the power of HANA, right? So what we used to do earlier, we used to fetch the data from the database and get the data over here and try to process over here our data by writing the logic loop at internal table into work area, and then all the processing we used to do over here at the application server here, whether it is aggregation. So any kind of business logic we are not supposed to write over here, right? We were supposed to fetch the limited data over here, the required data only at the application server layer, and then we used to perform the logic at the application server layer. Why? Because the non-HANA DB, the non-memory database, right? So the non-in-memory database is not that much powerful, right? Because it's not that much powerful, we first used to fetch the data and used to write the business logic over here at the application server layer. Okay? Because application server layer process the data faster if your DB is not in memory DB, right? So compared to none in memory DB, application server processing is going to be very faster in terms of business logic and all. But when HANA DB came into picture, the processing of business logic, processing of data, suppose if you have to aggregate the data, suppose if you want to sum up some quantity or some numeric field, right, or some currency field, if you want to add them up, if you want to sum it up, if you want to aggregate it up, it's very much capable. Why? The first reason, there are two reasons basically due to the hardware involvement, as we have seen, right? Some of the important point, and HANA-DB also supports the column-oriented architecture. Means the record can be stored in HANA-DB in column-oriented fashion. We'll understand how this column-oriented storage way in the HANA-DB is going to help to improve the performance. That part we'll be discussing maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow's session in more detail. Because the data can be stored in the column storage fashion, the aggregation on fly is possible, right? Aggregation is going to be very easier. So here, if you have to add the multiple quantity fields, multiple quantity records, first we fetch data over here. In the loop, we used to sum up them. But here, not required. Directly, you can use the new OpenSQL or you can use the CDS, and there you can use the aggregate function, and that aggregate function will give you the data on fly by adding them up here itself at the HANA DB itself, right? So what we understood as of now that in the previous, when we were not having the HANA DB, first we used to fetch the data at application server layer, and here we used to process the data where it is the aggregation or business logic, right? So aggregation means sum, mean, max, count, average. These are the aggregate functions we are having, which we used in order to calculation. Here, so that's why earlier we were not supposed to use the aggregate function, right? Whenever your code was getting reviewed with your senior a developer or with your team lead, if they found some aggregate function, they used to tell remove this aggregate function because that hampers the performance. But now when you have the HANA DB, you don't have to bother about aggregate function. You are supposed to use the aggregate function because your HANA DB is going to be more powerful, right? So the idea behind explaining all these things, the approach earlier what we were using was, the earlier approach what we were using was this. This was the approach actually. Just a second. So this was the approach, actually the earlier approach. Code push up, right? So minimum here, the narrow part of this triangle is showing that minimum logic you are supposed to perform at database layer, and maximum logic you can perform at the application server layer. That's the meaning of this particular shape. And here, now what you will have to do that when you have the HANA DB, you can perform the maximum logic, maximum calculation at the HANA DB layer, and the minimum, business logic, the minimum calculation at the application server layer. Okay. So here, this is known as the code push down. So why we are pushing the code down? Because our HANA is very powerful and it can process faster than the application server in some scenario when you have the aggregate function, when you have to decide what kind of data you have to fetch from the HANA DB, right? And that kind of logic, if you have to perform at a HANA DB layer itself, you know, this code push down technique is going to very much required. There are various code push down techniques. We have seen the most popular and very much recommended one. The first one is the new OpenSQL. It's very, very powerful, right? Then we are having the Another most popular and very powerful technique, which is the CDS. CDS is having its own advantage, right? Because of its reusability. So this new OpenSQL and CDS, sometimes CDS takes age over new OpenSQL because of its reusability. Once you create the CDS, you can consume in your report. You can create the OData service with the help of a simple annotation at the rate of OData dot publish colon true, right? Very important interview question. And once you are having the OData service, you can consume directly at UI5 level, or directly you can consume at your browser level. It's a UI5 application or in Fury application. You can consume this CDS. Not only that, you can also use in embedded analytics, right? So we can say that there are so many reusability for one CDS. That's why this is very, very powerful, very, very powerful. But suppose if you don't have to reuse anything, then in that case, new OpenSQL is the better choice. If you have to write directly code at the new application server layer, then this is the better choice. You are supposed to go with this. But if you have more usability, go with the CDS. SQL script, this is having the benefit that you can perform the business logic directly at the HANA DB, right? Because you won't be able to write the ABAP code at HANA DB. HANA DB does not understand the ABAP code, but it understands the SQL script. So if you have to write the logic directly at the HANA DB, you should be good in writing the SQL script. We are having AMDP. AMDP is a back way of consuming the SQL script. So in order to understand the AMDP also, you must be mastering SQL script. If you are very good in SQL script, you are a good developer of AMDP as well. Let's go and see some code in the system. Some power of new OpenSQL in the system, and we'll be digging more deeper in the coming sessions about the power of new OpenSQL. New OpenSQL is a very, very powerful tool. So I just want to show you over here Jet morning. So here, if you can see that, I just want to show you one example of new OpenSQL. So more we'll be discussing in our coming classes. There are so many improvement in new OpenSQL. All those we are going to see in a detail. Also, we'll be looking about the new syntaxes. Okay. So here, let's suppose you are having this table VBAP. Okay. And maybe I'm going to run this one. And here you can see that we are having the this table is having the sales order number, material number. Then these are some quantity field, right? You can see that net weight and these are the gross weight. Let's suppose you get one requirement where you have to add all the quantity field based on the material. For example, these two material 31 and 31 is having the 90 and 90. You want to add both this 90 and 90 for this 31. So for 31 it should be 180. For these two it should be 100 and 100. So what we are going to do, we are performing aggregation on the net weight per material, right? So earlier what we used to do, we used to do like this. First, fetching the data, select the required data over here, Matnar, all this data, all these four fields. Okay, so I will just give you the glimpse over here, right? Select all the four fields, and put in internal table. Then what? Let's suppose that internal table is it underscore tab. Okay, let's suppose that look at it underscore tab into a work area we used to define, right? And then here you are going to use the add new for map, right? For each map node, you are going to perform the aggregation. And uh, or maybe let's keep it simple. Okay, so whenever you are going to perform, so add new will be required over here because for each material you are going to do and in add. And then we used to do the sum command, or here we used to keep over here the temporary variable, and in the temporary variable, for example, lb underscore sum equal to lb underscore sum and plus that particular field, right? That particular field whatever we are having. And let's suppose you are going to get the aggregation for ntgw. So here WA underscore PAPL NTGW. So something like that we used to write this much code over here. So here directly we are not supposed to put the aggregate function, but now it's very easy. Why it's very easy? Because you can go and check over here under the status. You can see that we are having the NetWeaver 7.53, that is, it is greater than NetWeaver 7.40, right? It's 7.53. The NetWeaver application server version is determined by the SAP underscore basis component. Okay. So here you can see that 7.53, and the DB over here you can see that it's the HDB, HANA DB, because it's a HANA DB and we are on more than NetWeaver 7.40 version. What we can do that we can use the new OpenSQL. So all this code what we are processing at application server layer, we can process directly at the database layer and we can get the result using the new OpenSQL. So what we can write, select, and here we are having which particular NTGW we want to sum it up. So you can write from NTGEW as, here you have to give a space, as now total need weight from which table, VBAP table, into table. One internal table you will have to define, right? So what are the data you are going to get from here? For that structure, you will have to define the internal table. So I want to get material as well. Okay. So here we can write MATNR also. MATNR, sum of all the need weights as this particular field. I'm defining the alias over here from table VBAP into table. And because we are on NetWeaver 7.53, it supports the new syntax as well. That means it supports the inline declaration of as well. Earlier, we used to define first the structure. So suppose if you have to define the internal table, you have to define the structure. So I want to get the data from VBAP for material and net weight. So I will have to define the structure first. So begin of TS underscore tab, and then I want to get the material, and then I wanted to get the NTGEW type NTGEW. So here we'll have to see the data element. What is the data element for NTGEW? So let's search it quickly. NTGEW. Double click over here, and the data element is ntgw underscore ap, right? Or if you don't remember the data element, simply we can give vdap hyphen this. This is also fine, right? This is what we used to do. And then end of ds underscore tab. So the structure is now defined, and then we can define the internal table. It tab type table of ts underscore tab. And in this internal table we used to get the data, right? So here when we are going to when you have to get the four fields, all the four fields here will have to define, and then we have to select geometry in our ntgw from VBAP into table IT underscore tab. So this is very basics of ABAP, we know already. If you have the forfeits, then you will have to define the forfeits and all. Now, assuming that you are already expert in all this basic understanding, here, you know, here the thing is that you don't have to define all this structure and all, because you are more than on NetWeaver 7.4 and it supports the inline declaration new open SQL, because new open SQL can only understand the inline declaration. If you are going to use inside the old open SQL, this is old open SQL. See here I'm not using any comma and all, right? If you don't use a comma, that means it is a old open SQL. In the new open SQL, you can use the comma, right? Here I'm using the comma because I'm going to use the new open SQL. I can also use the inline declaration and directly we can, you know, create the internal table to store. So here at the rate data you will have, right, to store these two value from the database. So at the rate data, and here you can get it underscore tab. So you don't have to, you know, define explicitly. And here, because you are using the aggregation, right, sum, so what you will have to do that as an aggregation rule, you will have to write group by, and the non-aggregate column you will have to write it over here. We will see in more detail in the coming classes about more aggregate function, more examples, right? And here you can see that cl underscore demo underscore output display data. See the one line of code you are just going to write it over here, and it's going to give the output. You don't have to write all this much code, right? From here to here, you don't have to write this many code. Just simply you'll have to write a select, and if you want to display the data, you know, here I'm not displaying the data also, right? If you're going to write the display code over here, it will be more longer. So why the essence of all this explanation is that the coding also becomes shorter, and if you're going to write such kind of new open SQL, the processing is going to get performed at the HANA DB layer, and the performance is going to get fast because you are leveraging the power of HANA, because HANA is having the parallel processing capacity due to its multi-core processor. Okay, and it is there in the RAM, so obviously it's going to be faster. Check the syntax over here, activate this one, activate this, and run this one. So you can see that, right? Total net weight per material, for this material 270, for this material this, for this 74, this is the total aggregation. For example, if you just want to check if this result is correct or not, you can simply copy this one and go to the material and run this, and here you can see 90 plus 90 plus 90, it's a 270, right? And here it's also giving the 270, right? So the result is fine. Now the similarly, you know, when you will have to develop the CDS and all, the same thing you can do with the help of CDS as well, and the CDS can be consumed at the report level. Okay, we'll see all these things in more detail. Here it's just to understand that when you will have to go and create the CDS, you have to go into the ABAP perspective. Here in the HANA Studio, we are having the different perspective. This is known as ABAP perspective. This is known as HANA administrative perspective, and this is the modeling perspective. And here also you can see that this is the SAP HANA development perspective. Okay. So different perspectives are here. If you want to develop your CDS and AMDP, or if you want to write a ABAP program in HANA Studio, this is the perspective which we have to use. That perspective is nothing but a ABAP perspective. You'll have to click over here, and here you can go and create the ABAP project, and you can start writing the logic. Here, if you want to write some SQL script, you will have to go into the HANA administrative perspective or HANA development perspective. Okay. Or you can go to the HANA modeler perspective. Any of this perspective you can go and you can open the SQL console. And once the SQL console gets opened, there you can write your SQL script code and you can check your SQL script code how it's working. So it's getting some time, it will go to open and a kind of console will open and there you can write the code. So here actually these are the different things which we are having, right? And apart from that, there are so many things actually are there, but as a demo session, I would like to wrap up over here. And from tomorrow, step by step, we will be learning, you know, that about the sidecar scenario. We will be learning more about HANA. We will be learning about the column store, how the column store works actually. We will be learning the difference between row store and column store. So there are so many. Let me show you once more about this syllabus, and we will be having some more idea. However, under the key takeaway, we have already seen. So these are the syllabus. You know, total hours is going to be more than 50 hours. I have just written 45 plus, but it will go 50 plus hours, I'm sure. Because the things we are going to cover in detail, and we are going to give more focus on SQL script and AMDP and the CDS. That's why it can. So whatever it is written over here, all this syntax and all, we are going to discuss in detail. For some of the syntax, I will share the pre-recorded video for saving my time, because I don't want to expand more than 50 hours. I would like to keep it up to 45 hours. So for that purpose, I would uh, share for some of the topics which is not very much important or which is less used for those recorded session. For example, maybe I would share for this cross join. So based upon the time and the situation, we will decide. But most of the things we are going to cover in live itself. From that point of view, we don't have to bother. And here you can just go through, and at last we are having the pricing and bonus if we're going to get registered today. I will be going to give you my oops ABAP. This is our ultimate course. This object oriented ABAP is really ultimate course. You can get the feedback from the person who has got this course. I have worked so much hard to prepare this code. When I was taking this session, I used to work a lot of hard for this oops ABAP. So you can also get the YouTube video from the oops ABAP, some sample video, 2 or 3 videos. You can go and check how well it is explained over there and how the fundamental I have covered over there. And also, in this oops ABAP, the all 19 design patterns I have covered with an example writing the ABAP syntax, using the ABAP syntax. Okay. Apart from that, there are many other topics like interface, abstract class, uh, then static instance. So whatever the fundamentals we are having, all those are covered in very much detail. Maybe I can show you over here in just a moment. Come over here in oops ABAP, and here you can see. So all these topics are there. This course I'm going to give you free. if you are going to register today over here for this ABAP on HANA Medici. So here you can see that OOPS introduction, application of OOPS ABAP, then feature and advantage, types of ABAP classes, class components, visibility, local class creation, global class creation using class builder, instance static, returning, abstraction. You can just go through. I will be sharing this in the WhatsApp group also. So all these topics and more than this also, it has been covered in fact. Total content is about of 65 hours in the OOPS ABAP. So you can understand the depths of the course, how depth we have gone over there. So now come to the ABAP on HANA over here. And also Adobe Form I'm going to give you for free, and ALE ad hoc also I'm going to give you for free. So all these courses around 30K will be free. For this course, extra 1K will have to pay. So almost you are going to get this course for free if you're going to register for today. So bonus courses access will be given within 20 days of course starts. Full course fee need to be paid after attending the first two sessions apart from the demo session. If you want, you can attend the first two sessions. Better if you can register today. It will be good. You can get the early access of all these courses. Maximum under the 20 days, I'm going to give you all the access. So from my side, I'm done. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. From tomorrow, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., we are going to have the session on weekdays regularly. On 29th and 30th, on Tuesday, 29th and 30th, I will be on leave because I'll be traveling from my native to Pune. So these 2 days I will be on leave. But apart from that, I don't think so there will be any leave and all. This is going to be the regular session on weekdays. If any question or any concern, please feel free to ask over here.
Pankaj,
Hmm.
weekdays means I assume then the Saturday Sunday is off for us.
Right, right. Yes, on a weekdays.
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
Saturday.
and just
Hmm.
fine. Thank you. And second question is about the system access. So the system access will get it from you only, right?
No, system access you will have to get yourself. I will be sharing the detail of the person from you. You can get,
Okay,
if you know someone, you can directly go and check. But
okay. So
yeah,
how much they charge?
I think for 3 months they will be charging 2,500 if you are going through me. If you go directly, maybe they can make price a little higher. You know.
Okay,
But just give my reference, they will be giving you the required discount, some good
all
discount,
right.
because I'm giving a student in bulk.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Fine, fine, Pankaj. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yeah. Anyone else is having any question over here?
Pankaj Ramesh here.
Yeah.
So will we access and have the access to download these videos to our personal laptops?
PDF.
No, the videos that you're going to share or the recorded videos.
I'm not sure. I will be uploading this one in Google Drive. If it is allowed over there to download, you can download.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And for that free course, by when we need to pay the would be Pankaj?
Full payment should be in one go. There is
Yeah.
no. Yeah. So
Yeah, I understand by when we need to pay that full pay. I mean, to get that free course.
yeah, so you can pay today. It will be better if you can pay today. But still, if you want to see for some more days, 2 days you are allowed. You can check 2 days. But better if you can pay today. If you are sure that you are going to attend this course, better you pay today, and I will give you access within 2 or 3 days, because I will have to do some arrangement. I means put at the places, and then I will be giving you the access.
Can you give me one more? I mean, can you give us one more day for myself at least?
Yeah,
Maybe by
yes.
Tuesday. Yeah. By Tuesday I can do that.
Sure, sure. No issue.
Okay.
No
Thank you,
problem.
Pankaj.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So I think uh, no one is having any question, or if anyone is having any question, please feel free to ask over here, or just ask personally on my WhatsApp number, and make sure that you are connected in that group so that you will get the regular update. Okay, and if someone of your friend is willing to join this course, please do let them know so that they can join. This course is going to become a very wonderful course. I'm going to put my 100% over here to make very easy and graspable and more beneficial. Also, one more thing, like if you are not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can just go and subscribe over there. There are a lot of good stuffs over there. You can learn from there. For example, ABAP on HANA, very, very important interview questions and answers. For example, I can show you over here. So all kind of interview questions and answer, then early IDOC, some initial tutorial, uh, then some advanced concept. So maybe here you can go to library. Mm. So we are having actually ABAP ritual, one ABAP ritual. You can just search it over here, and here you can see that. So in ABAP ritual, we have created many playlists. Here you can see the total 94 videos are there. But if you're looking for the videos for ABAP on HANA separately, for OOPS ABAP separately, you can just search it over here. I have created the different playlist for each of the videos. So let me go to the channel, and there I will be able to show you better. So here you can see that ABAP Visual CDS interview questions and answer, enhancement course. Okay, this is the sample one. This is the ABAP interview questions and answer. I have put at one place. ABAP on HANA interview questions and answer in one playlist. So these videos are actually very helpful if you're going to prepare for the interview and all. I have prepared this video under the ABAP ritual session. If someone of you have attended the ABAP ritual session, which we have been doing in the beginning of this year, all right, you can see that how well the questions and answer has been explained. So you can just go through those questions and answer. Those are completely free as of now. Maybe in future it will be paid. I'm planning to put these on Udemy, all these questions and answers. So once I will put over there, it will be paid over here. Means you won't be able to access all these videos. So but still it will be there for for some months, 2 months or 3 months, something like that. I'm not sure when I'm going to put on Udemy, but as of now it's there. You can just go and access this. Okay, you can learn from there.
Okay, one last question. Will be having any hands-on session in parallel with the course?
Yeah, I will be giving you the assignment. You were supposed to do the assignment.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So thank you very much everyone for attending the session. Let's meet tomorrow by 8 a.m. morning. Okay, and I will be sharing a form link. Once you do the payment, just give the screenshot over there, write your name, email ID, and WhatsApp number, so that in the final list I will include you.
Sure, Pankaj. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.